Imagine the soft final glow of twilight. The warm oranges and deep purples of the sunset slowly fade into a deep velvety indigo. The air cools and a hush seems to fall over the landscape. As we retreat into the comfort of our homes, into the familiar glow of artificial light, do we ever truly consider the world that awakens just as we are winding down? We have been taught to see the night as an ending, a quiet, empty space between one busy day and the next. But what if the darkness is not an absence, but a presence? What if it is a secret stage for a different kind of life to unfold? We are about to embark on a journey into this hidden world, and we would love for you to join us for all that is to come. If you find yourself soothed by the mysteries of our planet, please take this quiet moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more restful explorations. And as you settle in, let us know in the comments where in the world you are and what time it is for you on this journey into the night. The truth is, the world you know by day is only half of the story. When the sun disappears, a new set of rules takes over. It is a realm governed not by sight but by sound, by scent, and by senses so finely tuned they border on magic. Life here takes on forms and behaviors that can seem alien to the sunlit world. A hidden drama of survival, adaptation, and breathtaking beauty that unfolds on a scale we can barely imagine. So what truly happens when the world is draped in shadow? The answer is more intricate, more wondrous, and more deeply fascinating than you have ever been led to believe. In the moments to come, we will begin to pull back this veil of darkness. We will discover the sensory superpowers that allow creatures to become masters of the night, turning absolute blackness into a vibrant, detailed landscape. We will ask how an owl can hunt in a field with no moon, using hearing so precise it can map the world around it. We will journey to find creatures that carry their own light into the abyss, and witness the secret, silent romances of the wild that bloom only under the stars. We will even learn that the plants in our gardens and forests lead a double life, engaging in complex behaviors long after we have gone to sleep. So, allow your breathing to slow. Let your eyes gently close if you wish, and let your mind drift with us. Join us on a journey into the heart of the night. What you are about to discover will change the way you see the darkness forever. Let your mind drift deeper into the quiet of this unseen world. We find ourselves asking a simple question. How does an animal not just survive, but truly master the darkness? The answer is a gentle and profound transformation. It is the evolution of extraordinary senses, turning the night from an empty void into a landscape rich with information, a world painted in sensations we can barely begin to imagine. Let us first listen, not with our ears but with our imagination. Picture a field, blanketed in fresh snow, silent under a black, moonless sky. To us it is a world of pure stillness, but high above, a ghostly shape glides on silent wings. This is the barn owl, a hunter who sees not with its eyes but with its hearing. Its face, a beautiful heart-shaped disc of feathers, is not an ornament. It is a sophisticated instrument, a satellite dish for sound, gathering the faintest whispers from the world below. Every tiny rustle, every faint scratching of a mouse hidden deep beneath the snow is captured and funneled towards its ears. And its ears hold another secret. They are not symmetrical, as ours are. One is placed slightly higher than the other, a subtle difference that allows the owl's brain to build a three-dimensional map of sound. It can perceive height, distance, and direction from a single minute noise. It hears in layers and textures, a symphony of detail where we would only hear silence. This ability to paint a picture with sound is perfected in another creature of the night, the bat. As it flits through the forest, it sends out a stream of delicate, high-pitched clicks, far beyond the range of human hearing. These sounds travel outwards, touching everything in their path, a leaf, a branch, the soft wings of a moth, and bounce back, returning as faint echoes. To the bat, these returning echoes are not just noise, they are a story. They form a vivid, constantly updating map of the world, a landscape built of sound. It is a sense so refined, so detailed that the bat can perceive the texture of a leaf and the gentle flutter of an insect's wings, all in complete darkness. It navigates a world of intricate acoustic shapes and shadows, a reality woven from whispers and their return. But what if the most important messages are not carried on sound waves at all? What if they are instead written on the wind itself, in a language of scent so subtle it is almost undetectable? Let us travel now to a deep northern forest. A great bear moves through the undergrowth, its massive head low to the ground. We think of bears as creatures of power and brute force, but one of its greatest assets is its delicacy of sense. Its nose is a marvel of biological engineering. It does not just smell a scent, it deconstructs it, reading ancient stories on the breeze. It can detect a carcass from 20 miles away, but it can also perceive the faint, lingering scent of a berry patch that was visited by another bear days ago. The night air, to the bear, is a library of information. Every molecule of scent tells it who has been here, what they were doing, and where they have gone. It is a history of the forest, written anew with every passing moment. This language of scent becomes even more intimate, more poetic, in the world of the moth. Imagine a female moth, resting on a leaf, releasing a microscopic, invisible plume of chemicals, a perfume called a pheromone. This single whispered invitation is carried on the night air. Miles away, a male moth, with his feathery, elaborate antennae, catches a single molecule of this promise. His antennae are not just feelers, they are nets, perfectly designed to catch these airborne messages. That one molecule is enough. It gives him a direction, and he begins his epic journey, flying for miles through the darkness, guided by nothing more than a chemical thread, an invisible path leading him to his mate. It is a romance conducted on a molecular level, a testament to the power of a single, silent call. And finally, we must consider sight, for even in the deepest dark, there are still faint ghosts of light, from the stars, from the distant moon, and some creatures have evolved to gather every last particle. Consider the tiny tarsier of Southeast Asia, a primate whose eyes seem to be its entire face. They are enormous, two luminous globes staring out into the black. They cannot even turn in their sockets. The tarsier must turn its entire head to look around. Within these huge eyes lies a secret mirror, a layer of cells called the tapetum lucidum. When a faint particle of starlight enters the eye and passes through the retina, this mirror reflects it right back, giving the retina a second chance to capture it. It is this layer that causes the eye shine we see in so many nocturnal animals. It is a biological trick to amplify the faintest light, allowing the tarsier to see in a world that, to us, would be one of absolute blackness. These are not just clever adaptations, they are windows into other realities. To be an owl, a bat, a bear, a moth, is to experience a world completely different from our own. For them, the night is not dark, it is vibrant, alive, and shimmering with information. It is a world painted in sound, sculpted by scent, and illuminated by the faintest starlight. It is a world we can only visit in our dreams. As we drift deeper into the quiet of the night, let your mind settle on a truly wondrous thought. In the darkest corners of our world, in places where no sunlight has ever reached, life does not simply endure the darkness, it answers it. It has learned to create its own light, a gentle and silent glow born not from fire, but from life itself. This is the magic of bioluminescence, a soft, cool light that illuminates the deepest mysteries of the night. Let us begin with a memory, a feeling that perhaps you have known. Picture a warm summer evening, long after the sun has set. You are sitting in a meadow, and around you, the darkness begins to breathe with tiny, floating embers of light. These are the fireflies. Each gentle pulse of green-gold light is a tiny chemical miracle. Inside the firefly, two substances meet, luciferin and luciferase, and their union creates this soft, ethereal glow. It is a light without heat, a pure and perfect conversion of chemical energy into a single, silent message. Each flash is a word in a quiet conversation taking place all around you. It is a language of courtship, a gentle rhythm that says, "I am here, where are you?" Each species has its own pattern, its own soft dialect of light, painting the warm air with questions and answers, a peaceful ballet of tiny, living lanterns, seeking one another in the vast, quiet dark. Now, let us travel from that open meadow to a place deep within the earth. Imagine a cave, a silent, hollow space untouched by the world above. The air is cool and still. As your mind's eye adjusts, you see that the ceiling above you is not made of rock, but of stars. A breathtaking, subterranean galaxy of soft, blue-green lights glimmers in the profound silence. These are not stars, but the famous glowworms. Each point of light is the work of a tiny larva, living out its life in this still, quiet world. They produce this beautiful, steady glow, and from it, they spin delicate silken threads that hang down like beaded curtains. The light is a beacon, a gentle invitation to even smaller insects flying through the cave's darkness. It is a beautiful and yet fatal attraction, a galaxy of silent, patient hunters. But here, in the deep stillness of the earth, the feeling is not one of danger, but of overwhelming peace, of a hidden cosmos that glitters with a serene and steady light. Let us drift even deeper now. Down, down, down into the ultimate darkness of our world. the abyssal plain of the deep ocean. Here, the weight of the water above is immense, the cold is profound, and the darkness is absolute. It is a world of crushing, silent pressure, and yet, even here there is light. Imagine a single, solitary point of blue light, hanging suspended in the endless black. This is the lure of the anglerfish. In this place of profound emptiness, this creature has formed a partnership with tiny, light-producing bacteria. They live together in a small appendage that dangles before the fish, a living lantern in the deep. The light is a solitary beacon, a tiny star in an endless, watery night. In a world where there is nothing else to see, this gentle, hypnotic glow becomes a point of focus, drawing the curiosity of the other sparse inhabitants of the deep. It is a quiet, patient presence in a universe of black. But not all of this living light is made to be seen so easily. There is another kind of glow, a secret light that is hidden from our eyes. It is not about creating light, but about transforming it. It is called biofluorescence. A creature absorbs light of one color and, like a quiet alchemy, releases it as another. It is a hidden beauty, often only revealed under a special kind of light. We are only just discovering this secret world. We have found it in the platypus, in the flying squirrel. Under the right conditions, these familiar creatures reveal a soft, secret glow, a hidden color palette we never knew they possessed. And the most peaceful part of this discovery is its mystery. We do not yet know why they hold this secret light. It hints at a quiet language, a layer of perception that exists just beyond our own. A gentle reminder that even the creatures we think we know have deep, serene secrets they keep to themselves. From the floating embers in a meadow, to the galaxies inside a cave, and the solitary stars of the deep ocean, life has learned to weave light into its very fabric. It is a silent language of flashes and glows, a soft and steady luminescence that speaks of courtship, of survival, of simple, quiet existence. The darkness, you see, is not empty. It is filled with its own stars, its own gentle constellations, created by life itself. A profound and peaceful truth, hidden in the world's most quiet places. Let your thoughts continue to drift on the quiet currents of the night air. We have explored the senses that allow life to navigate the darkness. But what of the deeper currents that guide all living things? The drive to find another, to connect, to create. When the sun sets, this ancient quest does not end. It simply changes its form. The darkness provides a soft cloak of privacy for some of nature's most serene and profound rituals of courtship. Let us return to that soundscape of the night and listen more closely. Along the edge of a still, dark pond, a deep, resonant hum seems to rise from the very earth itself. It is the great chorus of the frogs. To our ears it may seem like a simple, rumbling noise, but it is in fact a complex and deeply peaceful symphony. Each deep thrum is the voice of a male frog singing his presence into the night. It is a song of health, of strength, of his place in the world. And the females, resting silently in the water, listen. They are not listening for the loudest call, but for a certain tone, a certain steady rhythm that speaks of a calm and grounded strength. It is a search for a partner, conducted through a soothing, vibrational hum that becomes the very heartbeat of the wetlands at night. It is a song of belonging. Now, let us travel to the deep, silent forests of New Zealand and listen for a different kind of call. A single, high, and almost plaintive sound pierces the quiet. It is the call of the kiwi bird. These gentle, flightless creatures often bond for life, and through the night they use these haunting, echoing calls to speak to one another across the dark valleys. It is a duet of presence. The male calls, and after a pause the female answers. It is a simple, ancient way of saying, "I am here." And the response comes back, "And I am here." It is a thread of sound that stitches their two worlds together, a reassurance that even when they are apart, foraging in the darkness, they are not alone. Their love song is a quiet checking in, a gentle reminder of their bond that carries on the still night air. But some of the most profound connections are made in complete silence, through rituals as old as time itself. Imagine a desert floor, bathed in the soft silver light of the stars. Two scorpions meet. There is no sound, only a slow, deliberate movement. This is their courtship, a delicate waltz, known as the promenade à deux. The male gently takes the female's pincers in his own, and they begin to move together, back and forth, in a graceful, rhythmic dance. He leads her in this silent ballet, searching for just the right place on the sand to continue their lineage. It is a dance of profound trust, a quiet understanding that passes between them through the gentle grasp of their claws. For hours they can move like this, two dark shapes waltzing in the starlight, a testament to the fact that the most powerful bonds are often formed without a single sound. And then there is that language we have already touched upon, the language of scent, which can carry the most intimate messages of all. Let us think again of the female moth, resting on a leaf in the deep quiet of the woods. Her release of a pheromone is an act of supreme faith. She sends a silent chemical whisper out into the vast, dark world, a message of hope that it will find its way to the one it is meant for. It is the gentlest of invitations, a quiet calling that can travel for miles, trusting in the wind and the currents of the night to carry its serene promise. And in the forests of Madagascar, another gentle dialogue of scent unfolds. Here, the ring-tailed lemur greets the night with its own quiet ritual. A male lemur will draw its long, soft tail across the scent glands on its wrists, anointing it with his own unique essence. Then, in a slow, almost meditative gesture, he will wave his tail, allowing the scent to drift through the calm night air. This is not an act of aggression, but a statement of being. He is simply announcing his presence, his vitality, his place in the peaceful social fabric of the forest. It is a debate conducted in perfume, a way of establishing presence and respect without ever disturbing the serene quiet of the nocturnal world. The darkness, you see, does not create separation. For many, it fosters a deeper intimacy. It filters out all that is distracting, leaving only the purest forms of communication. A steady heartbeat of a song, a reassuring call and response across a valley, a silent, trusting waltz under the stars, a whispered promise carried on the wind. These are the arts of seduction in the nocturnal world. And they are not loud or boastful, but quiet, deep, and filled with a profound and sleepy grace. As our journey continues, let us turn our attention to the quietest kingdom of all, the world of plants. We think of them as beings of the sun, passive and still. Their lives a slow and simple process of turning light into life. But this is only half of their story. When the darkness falls, the plant kingdom begins a secret life of its own, a world of slow movement, silent signals, and deep, restful processes that are just as wondrous as any creatures. Imagine a desert landscape, bathed in the cool silver light of a full moon. Here grows a cactus, unassuming by day, known as the Queen of the Night. For most of the year it waits patiently, but on one special night, a single night of the entire year, it performs a miracle. As darkness settles, a large, tightly wound bud begins to stir. Slowly, gracefully, over hours it unfurls its magnificent white petals, revealing a breathtakingly beautiful flower larger than a human hand. And as it opens, it releases a rich, sweet perfume into the desert air. This scent is a summons, a fragrant invitation sent out into the darkness. And soon, its intended guests arrive. Large hawk moths with wings like velvet and nectar-feeding bats are drawn by this irresistible call. They have come to drink the flower's rich nectar, and in doing so, they will pollinate it, ensuring the future of this beautiful plant. It is a slow, serene dance of purpose, a single night of blooming that represents the culmination of an entire year of quiet patience. By dawn, the flower will close forever, its brief, glorious life's work complete. This quiet partnership is repeated across the world. The ancient, wise baobab tree, the tree of life, also opens its large, pale flowers, only at night. It too waits for the bats to come and carry its life force to another. These night-blooming flowers share a common peaceful wisdom. They are often white or pale, to better reflect the faint moonlight, and they are deeply fragrant, to guide their partners through the darkness. They do not shout for attention, they simply become a beacon of scent and soft light, trusting that their message will be received. But even in the most common plants there are quiet, nightly rituals. Picture a single, broad leaf in a garden just before dawn. Along its edge, you might see tiny, perfect droplets of water like a string of jewels. This is not dew that has settled from the air. This is a process called guttation. At night, when the plant is not breathing out water vapor into the sun's heat, a gentle pressure builds from its roots, and it quietly pushes this excess water out through special pores. It is a sign of a healthy, vibrant plant, engaged in its own deep internal rhythms. It is as if the plant is taking a long, slow, cleansing breath, exhaling tiny pearls of water into the cool, still air. And have you ever noticed a plant that seems to go to sleep? There are many that do. The prayer plant, for instance, holds its leaves open and flat during the day, but as evening comes it slowly, reverently folds them upwards, as if in a gesture of gentle prayer. This is called nyctinasty, the sleep movement of plants. No one knows for certain why they do this. Perhaps it is to conserve warmth or energy, perhaps it is to allow the moonlight to reach the lower leaves, or perhaps it is simply their way of resting. It is a deep, peaceful mystery, a reminder that plants, in their own silent way, mark the rhythm of day and night just as we do. But the most incredible secret of the night garden may be its ability to protect itself, not with thorns or poison, but with a silent, invisible language. Imagine a wild tobacco plant, its leaves being nibbled by a single hungry caterpillar under the cover of darkness. The plant does not simply endure this, it responds. It begins to release a specific, gentle perfume into the night air. These are chemical signals, a silent sigh of distress. This scent is a message, a quiet call for help. And soon, other insects, the natural predators of that caterpillar, are drawn by the scent. The plant has summoned its own bodyguards, protecting itself not through struggle, but through a quiet, intelligent communication. The life of a plant is not a static existence. It is a continuous, 24-hour cycle of growth, of partnership, and of quiet defense. The darkness reveals a hidden dimension of their being, a world of slow dances, deep breaths, and silent conversations. The garden that seems so still at night is in fact whispering, with a profound and ancient life force, as deep and mysterious as any other corner of our sleeping world. As we drift even deeper into this state of restful awareness, let your mind embrace a new idea. We have come to see the night as a time of stillness, a time for staying put. But for countless lives across our planet, the darkness is not a boundary, it is a path. It is a safe and silent highway for some of the most ancient and profound journeys on Earth. Under the soft cloak of darkness, whole worlds are in motion. Imagine the sky above you. It appears vast, dark, and empty. But if you could see with a different kind of sight, you would witness a breathtaking spectacle. You would see a great, silent river flowing through the stars. This river is made of life. It is the great nocturnal migration of the songbirds, billions of them, tiny warblers, gentle thrushes, and quiet sparrows, are passing high overhead on their long journey from one home to another. They choose to travel through the night for reasons of deep, instinctual peace. The night air is cooler, calmer, making their long flight less of a struggle, and in the darkness, they are safe from the daytime hunters that would trouble their passage. The night offers them a shield, a quiet corridor through which they can travel undisturbed. And how do they find their way through the endless dark? They carry a compass within them, a gentle sense that feels the magnetic pull of the earth itself, guiding them north or south. But they also look upwards just as we do. They see the stars and they understand their patterns. For these tiny travelers, the North Star is a true and steady guide, a fixed point of light in the vast, turning heavens. They navigate by this celestial map, a wisdom passed down through generations, a quiet trust in the constancy of the stars. So as you rest, you can imagine this silent, invisible river of life, flowing peacefully over your head, a billion tiny hearts beating in rhythm, guided by ancient starlight on their long, sleepy journey home. Let us now sink from the sky down into the deep, dark waters of the ocean. Here, too, a great and silent journey takes place every single night. It is the largest migration on our planet, and it happens in a slow, rhythmic pulse. During the day, trillions upon trillions of tiny creatures like zooplankton rest in the deep, dark, safe waters far from the light. But as the sun sets, a gentle collective instinct stirs them, and together they begin to rise. It is a slow, silent ascent, a living cloud drifting upwards through the dark water towards the surface, where they will feed on the even tinier phytoplankton that grew in the sun. It is a quiet, vertical journey that happens across all the oceans of the world. The entire ocean breathes, inhaling this great wave of life upwards as darkness falls, and exhaling it back down into the deep as dawn approaches. It is the gentle, silent, rhythmic heartbeat of the sea, and back on the land there are smaller but no less profound journeys taking place. On the first warm, rainy nights of spring, the forest floor awakens. From their quiet burrows beneath the earth, thousands of salamanders emerge. The rain is a signal, a gentle calling for them to begin their own pilgrimage. They move slowly, deliberately, across the wet leaves and moss, all heading in the same direction, towards the temporary vernal pools where they were born. It is a quiet, gentle procession, a mass movement of shy creatures who use the cover of the rain and the darkness to travel safely. They are answering an ancient call, a deep memory that guides them back to the waters that will give life to their own young. For so many creatures, the night is not a time of fear, but a time of freedom. It is a time for safe passage, a time for quiet purpose. While our own world sleeps, these other worlds are awake and moving, undertaking incredible odysseys. They travel not with haste or anxiety, but with a deep, instinctual calm, trusting in the stars, in the seasons, and in the profound peace that the darkness provides. The night is not empty. It is filled with these silent, purposeful journeys, a gentle and constant current of life flowing all around us. Our quiet journey tonight has carried us far into the unseen world that breathes and sighs all around us while we rest. We have floated through this peaceful realm, learning its gentle secrets. We have felt the profound genius of the owl's hearing and the bat's sonic sight. We have drifted among the living, breathing light of the firefly and the deep, silent glow of the glowworm's galaxy. We have witnessed the serene, silent dance of the scorpion and heard the quiet, hopeful calls of creatures seeking connection in the vast darkness. We have even discovered that the plants in our gardens are awake, engaged in their own slow, secret lives. We have felt the great, silent river of life flowing in the sky above and in the oceans below. We have learned that the night is not an empty space. It is a parallel world, a peaceful kingdom that exists alongside our own, filled with wonders. It is a world that has mastered the challenges of darkness through millions of years of quiet, steady evolution. But as you drift and float in this peaceful state, a gentle question may arise in your mind. Why? Why must the songbird travel under the cover of darkness? Why must the moth's flight be so silent, or a plant's defenses so subtle? These incredible adaptations, this serene mastery of the dark, did not develop in a vacuum. They grew in response to a deep, powerful, and ever-present pressure. For every creature that has learned to thrive in the dark, there is another that has learned to hunt in it. Every skill we have witnessed tonight has another side. The keen hearing that allows a mouse to find a single seed in the grass is the very same sense that betrays its location to the owl. The gentle light that signals a firefly's hope for a mate can also serve as a beacon for a different kind of visitor. The night is a realm of incredible peace and ingenuity, but it is also a place of perfect, quiet balance. It is the ultimate garden of survival. The story of the night, you see, is only half told. To truly understand the hunted, we must also understand the hunter, and so our journey will continue. In our next exploration together, we will cross that invisible line. We will move from the gentle rustle in the leaves to the silent shadow that watches it. We will meet the quiet stalkers, the patient ambushers, and the graceful, efficient masters of the hunt. So for now, rest deeply in the knowledge of this beautiful hidden world. And when you are ready for the next part of the story, join us again as we continue our peaceful journey into the heart of the darkness to meet the creatures that truly own the night. In our first journey together, we opened our senses to the many quiet wonders of the nocturnal world. We felt the cool night air that allows great and peaceful journeys to take place. We imagined the secret, silent lives of plants unfolding after dark, and we marveled at the incredible sensory gifts that allow so many creatures to navigate a world without light. But this vibrant world of life, this gentle abundance of activity under the stars, creates a deep and profound opportunity. For every single creature that has perfected the art of surviving in the darkness, another has perfected the art of hunting in it. The two are inseparable, two sides of the same ancient and peaceful coin. Tonight, we turn our attention to the other half of the night. We will walk beside the quiet hunters, the silent stalkers, the serene masters of the darkness. It is easy for our minds to think of predators as a source of fear, but for this gentle journey, we will see them in a different light. We will see them not as monsters, but as masters of their craft, creatures whose skills have been honed over countless generations to a state of quiet and breathtaking perfection. They are the force of balance in the nocturnal world, the silent auditors whose gentle presence ensures the health and the vitality of the entire ecosystem. Their existence is the very reason so many of the peaceful wonders we have seen have evolved in the first place. We will drift on silent feathery wings with the great owl, a peaceful ghost in the forest canopy. We will learn the art of patient, meditative stillness from the great cats, who can become one with the shadows. We will feel the deep, intelligent and quiet cooperation of a wolf pack as they move through their territory like a single breathing, peaceful organism. We will explore the incredible senses that allow them to perceive their world in ways we can only imagine. Their success is built not on force, but on an incredible mastery of perception, of silence, and of strategy. As we begin to explore their quiet world, a gentle question arises. Their strength is obvious, but what is the secret to their silence? How does a hunter that can weigh hundreds of pounds move through the dry leaves of a forest without making a single sound? The most profound and essential skill of a nocturnal hunter is the deep and abiding mastery of silence. In a world where hearing is often the most critical sense for survival, where the snap of a single twig can echo like a thunderclap, the ability to move without being heard is the key to a peaceful and successful life. This is not simply a matter of being careful or trying to be quiet. It is a deep, biological art form, a state of being where the hunter's own body has become a finely tuned instrument of absolute stealth. Let your mind first imagine a great owl resting on a high branch in a dark and silent forest. When it decides the time is right to hunt, it does not launch itself into a noisy, flapping frenzy. It simply lets go. It drifts down from its branch like a falling leaf, a silent, feathered ghost floating on the night air. This beautiful, effortless silence is made possible by the magnificent and intricate design of its feathers. The very front edge of its main flight feathers is serrated, like the soft teeth of a tiny comb. This gentle edge breaks up the flow of air as it hits the wing, preventing the loud whooshing sound that most birds make when they fly. The surface of the feathers is also covered in a soft, rich, velvety down, which acts like a blanket to absorb the sound of the air as it moves over them. And finally, the back edge of the feathers is fringed, like a soft, tattered piece of silk, which further diffuses the air and muffles any sound as it leaves the wing. These three beautiful adaptations work in perfect, serene harmony to make the owl's flight almost completely silent, allowing it to drift over a forest floor without its prey ever knowing it was there. Now, let us imagine a different kind of silence, a silence that is born not of the air, but of the earth. Picture a great cat, a leopard resting in the tall grass of a savanna, or a mountain lion on a rocky ledge in a quiet canyon. Its paws are its instruments of stealth. They are large, soft, and fleshy, with thick, deep pads that cushion every single step, absorbing the sound of its movement and spreading its weight perfectly and evenly across the ground. Its hunting style is a form of moving meditation. It moves with a slow, deliberate, and almost liquid grace, placing each enormous paw down with immense and focused care, testing the ground for a dry leaf or a loose stone before committing its full weight. This is a discipline of absolute quiet, a deep instinctual understanding that a single careless snap of a twig can bring the entire patient hunt to an end. It is a slow, peaceful dance with the landscape, a process of becoming one with the shadows and one with the silence. This incredible art of the silent hunt is about more than just finding a meal. It shapes the entire world around these peaceful predators. The constant quiet presence of these hunters creates what biologists call, gently, a landscape of fear. This is not a negative or a stressful thing. It simply means that the grazing animals, like the deer and the antelope, cannot live their lives in a state of careless ease. They too must become more mindful, they must remain alert, they must keep moving peacefully through the landscape, and they must avoid the quiet, open places where a predator could easily approach unseen. Let us first consider the sense of sight, and allow your mind to imagine looking out through the eyes of a great cat. The pupil is not a small dark dot, but a huge dark circle that can open incredibly wide, like the aperture of a camera lens, gently gathering every possible particle of available light from a faint, slivered moon or the distant cold light of the stars. And behind the sensitive cells of its retina lies a special, almost magical layer of tissue called the tapetum lucidum. You can think of this as a perfect natural mirror. This is what causes the beautiful otherworldly eye shine we see when a light catches a nocturnal animal's eyes in the darkness. This gentle mirror takes any light that the retina might have missed on its first pass and reflects it right back, giving the eye a second chance to capture and process it. It is an incredible, silent system for amplifying the faintest light, turning a world that would be pitch black to our eyes into a soft, beautiful landscape of silvery grey shapes and deep, gentle shadows. Now, let us leave the world of sight and begin to listen with the ears of a hunter. We can return to our great owl perched silently and peacefully in the high branches of a tree. We know its flight is a masterpiece of silence, but its hearing is its true and most profound gift. Its face is not flat, but is gently shaped into a feathered disc, a perfect natural satellite dish that gathers the faintest sounds from the forest floor and funnels them with incredible precision towards its ears. And its ears hold another quiet secret. They are not placed evenly on the sides of its head as our own ears are. One is placed just a little bit higher than the other. This tiny, subtle difference in position allows the owl's brilliant brain to do something remarkable. It can detect the microscopic difference in the time it takes for a single sound, like the quiet rustle of a leaf, to reach each of its ears. This allows it to create a perfect, three-dimensional map of the soundscape around it. It can pinpoint the exact location of a tiny mouse, hidden from sight beneath a deep blanket of snow from high up on a branch, using only this deep, profound sense of hearing. And some hunters have taken this idea even further, by learning to create their own sensory information. The gentle bat, as it flits and dances through the night sky, emits a constant, quiet stream of high-frequency clicks, sounds that are far beyond our own range of hearing. These tiny sounds travel out and bounce off everything in the environment: a tree branch, a smooth rock, and most importantly, a soft, fluttering moth. And the gentle echoes of these sounds return to the bat's incredibly sensitive ears. This is the magic of echolocation, and it is the ultimate active sense. The bat is not passively waiting for information to come to it, it is actively creating its own perception of the world, painting a detailed, vibrant, and constantly updating picture of its surroundings with sound. It is a sense so incredibly refined that it can detect the gentle, silent flutter of a moth's wings from many yards away. Through these magnificent and peaceful senses, the night is not dark or empty to the predator. It is a rich and vibrant world, filled with detailed information, a world they can navigate with serene and absolute confidence. Now that we understand how they so perfectly perceive their world, what are the different philosophies, the different quiet strategies they use to hunt within it? Possessing the gift of silent movement and the blessing of senses that can pierce the darkness are only part of the story. The true art of the nocturnal hunter is found in how these incredible gifts are applied. In the quiet, peaceful darkness, there are two great, overarching philosophies of the hunt: the strategy of the patient, meditative ambush, and the strategy of the quiet, enduring pursuit. First, let us settle our minds into the world of the ambush predator. This is a strategy built on the deepest principles of stillness, of quiet observation, and of a profound and meditative patience. Imagine a great mountain lion resting peacefully on a high, rocky ledge that overlooks a well-worn game trail in the moonlight. Its work did not begin when it settled here. It began long before. In its silent study of the landscape, it knows the paths the deer are most likely to take. It feels the direction of the gentle night breeze, and it has chosen its resting spot with immense and careful consideration. And now it simply waits. It can remain perfectly, serenely still for hours on end, its powerful body completely relaxed, but its senses awake and alive, listening to the quiet symphony of the night. It becomes a part of the landscape, another silent stone in the darkness, another shadow among the shadows. The hunt for the ambush predator is 99% quiet waiting and 1% explosive, decisive action. This beautiful strategy is a masterpiece of energy conservation. There is no wasted movement, no long and draining chase across the land. There is only the long, quiet, peaceful wait, and then a perfectly timed, perfectly executed strike that is as swift and as certain as a bolt of lightning from a calm night sky. It is a hunt that is as much a mental discipline as it is a physical one, a deep meditation on stillness and timing. Now, let us allow our minds to feel the energy of a different strategy, the quiet pursuit. This is the world of the wolf pack. Theirs is not a hunt based on a single fleeting moment of surprise, but on a deep well of endurance, on an intelligent and gentle cooperation, and on a profound social understanding. Imagine a small pack of wolves moving silently through a moonlit forest. They are not running, but are moving at a steady, peaceful, ground-eating trot. They will follow a herd of elk or caribou for miles, their presence quiet but known, like a soft, persistent shadow. They are not just chasing, they are observing, they are testing the herd with their presence, watching for any sign of weakness, of old age, or of illness. Once they have chosen their target, the true, coordinated hunt begins. A hunt that is more like a dance. They will work together as one, some wolves gently pushing the animal from one side, others flanking it, guiding it with a quiet pressure towards more difficult terrain, a place where their own incredible endurance will give them the ultimate advantage. It is a strategic and intelligent pursuit, a collaborative effort where each wolf knows its role, their movements guided by a silent, unspoken communication that flows between them. It is a hunt built not on the power of one, but on the quiet, collective intelligence of many. These two great strategies are two different, beautiful, and peaceful answers to the same quiet question of the night. The solitary, meditative ambush of the great cat is a game of serene stillness and perfect sudden surprise, a burst of incredible power from a place of deep and profound calm. The cooperative, flowing pursuit of the wolf pack is a game of quiet strategy and incredible endurance, a slow and steady pressure applied with a calming, collective intelligence. Both are beautiful, both are efficient, and both are perfectly adapted to the prey they hunt and the quiet landscapes they call home. We have seen the solitary hunter and the social hunter. But what happens when a creature becomes so specialized, so perfectly and beautifully adapted to its extreme environment, that it seems to become a myth, a ghost that is seen only in whispers? To truly understand the quiet, serene mastery of the nocturnal predator, let us allow our minds to travel to the highest, most remote, and most peaceful landscapes on our planet. Let us drift to the great, silent mountain ranges of Central Asia, to the windswept, starlit peaks of the Himalayas. Here, in a world of thin air, deep, profound cold, and an even deeper silence, lives a creature so elusive, so solitary, and so perfectly adapted to its home, that it is often called, with a sense of deep reverence, the ghost of the mountains. This is the quiet, meditative world of the snow leopard. This is a hunter that has been sculpted, not by force, but by the gentle, persistent pressure of its extreme environment. Its very being is a testament to survival and to a kind of profound beauty in a place of harsh and lonely majesty. Its coat is not a simple, stark white, but a thick, smoky grey fur, patterned with dark, cloud-like circles called rosettes. This pattern is not an adornment. It is a perfect cloak of invisibility, allowing the leopard to blend in seamlessly with the snow-dusted rocks and deep, silent shadows of its mountain home. Its paws are enormous, like soft, furry platters, covered in thick fur even on the bottom. This fur both protects its sensitive pads from the biting cold and acts like a pair of natural, silent snowshoes, allowing it to walk gracefully on top of the deep snow without making a sound. Its hind legs are immensely powerful, capable of launching it on breathtaking, silent leaps from one rocky ledge to another across vast chasms. And its tail is a marvel of adaptation, almost as long as its body, thick and heavy and luxuriously soft. It serves as a perfect rudder, a tool for maintaining its delicate balance as it navigates the treacherous, steep terrain of its home. And when it rests, curled up against the cold, it uses this magnificent tail as a soft scarf, wrapping it gently around its face to warm the thin, The snow leopard is the ultimate embodiment of the patient, meditative ambush hunter. It uses the rugged, vertical landscape of its home as its greatest and most trusted ally. It will silently stalk its prey, often the wild blue sheep or the nimble ibex, from high above, using the cliffs and the great silent rock outcroppings for perfect cover. It can spend hours moving slowly and meticulously into position, its movements economical, precise, and profoundly peaceful. A hunt can be a long, drawn-out, and silent affair, a slow, patient stalk that can last for an entire day, followed by a short, explosive chase down a steep, rocky slope, a display of incredible, quiet power and breathtaking agility. Its reputation as a ghost is well and truly earned. These are solitary, peaceful creatures, their territories vast and their numbers small. They live their quiet lives largely under the gentle cover of dusk, dawn, and the deep, silent night. Their movements are so secretive and their presence so subtle that for centuries they were more a creature of myth and legend than of science. To see a snow leopard in the wild is a rare and profoundly moving gift, a fleeting glimpse of a true master of a high and lonely world. It is the perfect nocturnal hunter, a being so in tune with its extreme and peaceful environment that it seems to be not just living in the mountains, but to be a living, breathing part of the mountain itself, a quiet spirit made of rock and snow and starlight. We have now seen how this beautiful hunter is a serene master of its natural world, but its presence is not just about its own quiet survival. Its actions, as gentle and as subtle as they are, ripple outwards, peacefully shaping the very landscapes that it calls home. How does the quiet, solitary presence of a single, ghostly hunter have the power to change the course of a river, or ensure the health of an entire mountain ecosystem? The role of a predator in its quiet, natural home is far deeper and more gentle than the single, brief act of a hunt. The true power of these serene hunters lies not just in the animals they may catch, but in the peaceful, steady pressure of their constant, watchful presence. This presence creates a subtle but profoundly beautiful effect that ripples down through the entire food web, gently shaping the very land, the water, and the air. It is a quiet chain reaction, a hunter's silent gift to the world. Let your mind imagine a beautiful, wide valley, with a river flowing gently through it. In this valley, there are no wolves, no mountain lions. A great herd of deer or elk can live here in a state of complete and peaceful ease. They can graze wherever they please, often gathering in the most lush, gentle places, like the soft, fertile banks of the river. And because there is no reason for them to move on, they can eat all the young willow and aspen saplings right down to the ground. Over time, the forest in that area will stop growing back, the riverbanks will become bare and will begin to erode. But now, Imagine that a predator quietly returns to this valley. The entire feeling of the landscape gently changes. The deer can no longer live in their state of careless peace. They must now live in what biologists call a landscape of awareness. This is not a world of constant fear, but one of heightened mindfulness. The deer must now be aware. They can no longer stand in one open meadow for hours on end. They must keep moving, sticking to places where they have better cover, and they must avoid the narrow valleys and gorges where they could easily be trapped. The most beautiful and famous example of this gentle rebalancing happened in Yellowstone National Park in the United States. Wolves had been absent from this incredible wilderness for 70 years. During that time, the elk population grew very large, and their grazing habits began to change the land, but then wolves were gently reintroduced. They did not hunt a huge number of elk, but their quiet, watchful presence was enough to change the elk's behavior. The elk began to avoid the open river valleys, and with that gentle pressure removed, the land itself began to breathe a soft sigh of relief and started to heal. This was only the beginning of the quiet, beautiful cascade. As the elk moved on, the young willows and aspens and cottonwood trees along the riverbanks began to grow tall and strong for the first time in decades. And as the trees grew, the songbirds returned, filling the quiet air with their gentle music. The new, healthy trees also provided food and wood for beavers, who returned to the area and began to build their ingenious dams. These dams created new, quiet ponds and wetlands, which in turn provided peaceful homes for muskrats, for frogs and other amphibians, and for countless fish. The cool shade from the growing trees even lowered the temperature of the river water, making it a better and healthier home for the trout. The trees, with their strong, deep roots, held the riverbanks together, reducing erosion and allowing the river to find its true, deeper, and more peaceful path. The simple, quiet return of a single predator started a gentle chain reaction that brought the entire ecosystem back into a state of vibrant, healthy, and serene balance. This is the hunter's greatest and most profound gift. They are not the villains of the natural world. They are its quiet gardeners, its silent architects, and its gentle, thoughtful engineers. Their true role is to maintain a peaceful, steady balance, and in doing so, they create a world that is healthier, more diverse, and more resilient for all the other beautiful lives within it. We have now listened to the sounds of the night, seen its living light, followed its silent travelers, and finally understood its quiet hunters. As we prepare to conclude our great journey, how do all of these different, beautiful threads weave together into one single, peaceful, and complete picture of the night? Our quiet journey tonight has taken us deep into the peaceful world of the nocturnal predator. We have drifted on silent wings with the gentle owl. We have walked with the patient, meditative grace of the great cat, and we have felt the deep, cooperative spirit of the wolf pack as they move like a single, quiet shadow across the land. We have marveled at the incredible senses that allow them to turn the deep, dark night into a world rich with information, and we have come to understand the profound and peaceful role they play in the health of our sleeping planet. These quiet hunters are not a force of chaos, but are the very heart of the night's serene and perfect balance. They are the unseen force that drives so much of the quiet beauty we find in the natural world. The intricate, delicate camouflage of a moth, the incredible, sharp hearing of a mouse, the wise decision of a bird to travel under the gentle cover of darkness. All of these wondrous adaptations are a direct, evolutionary answer to the silent, watchful presence of the predator. The hunter and the hunted are not enemies. They are peaceful partners in a slow, graceful dance that has been unfolding for millions of years. A quiet dance that creates stronger, smarter, and more resilient life for everyone. The presence of a predator brings a sense of deep completeness to the landscape. It is the final, essential piece of the puzzle. Knowing that the silent hunter is there, moving gracefully through the shadows, allows us to see the entire ecosystem in a new and more peaceful light. We can appreciate the stillness of a deer, not just as a state of rest, but as a state of deep, listening awareness. We can understand the forest not just as a collection of trees, but as a complex and beautiful environment of safe havens and quiet, watchful pathways. The hunter provides the gentle tension that holds the entire beautiful fabric of the nocturnal world together. They are the keepers of the ancient, peaceful order of the night. We have now felt how these creatures have mastered the art of perceiving the darkness, turning the faintest whispers of sound and the most ghostly particles of light into a rich and detailed map. But this raises a new and gentle question. What if a creature's strategy is not to get better at seeing in the dark, but to simply make its own light? What happens when life answers the profound darkness not with sharper senses, but with a quiet internal galaxy of its own creation? In our last journey together, we drifted through the quiet domain of the nocturnal hunter. We felt the profound stillness of a world where every shadow could hold a silent predator, a world where the darkness itself became the ultimate weapon. It seemed as though the night belonged to them, that the darkness was their greatest ally. But for every deep current in the natural world, there is a gentle and powerful countercurrent. For the very same darkness that shields the hunter has inspired the hunted to evolve one of the most beautiful, ethereal, and surprising responses imaginable. Instead of surrendering to the shadows, they have learned to answer the darkness with light. Tonight we turn our gaze from the hunters to the luminous. We begin a new journey into the heart of bioluminescence, nature's own living light show. This is not the bright, hot light of the sun, nor the restless flicker of a flame. This is a cold, silent light, born from the very chemistry of life itself, a biological miracle that transforms the darkest corners of our planet into enchanted, dreamlike landscapes. We will drift from forests where the very ground seems to breathe with a soft, eerie glow, to meadows alive with the gentle, pulsing conversations of tiny floating lights. We will then let our minds sink into the warm sea, where a simple splash can ignite a whole constellation of blue sparks, and then drift even deeper down to the crushing blackness of the abyss, a world illuminated not by a distant sun, but by the very creatures that live there. This living light is so much more than just a beautiful spectacle. It is a complex and silent language of survival, a vocabulary written in gentle photons of light. It is a soft glow used to attract a mate, and it is a hypnotic beacon used to lure in a meal. It is a stark warning that tells a predator to stay away, and it is a clever disguise used to become invisible in plain sight. It is a silent, desperate scream for help, and it is a secret code that allows members of the same species to recognize each other in the endless, lonely dark. It is a quiet testament to life's incredible ingenuity. But as we begin this peaceful journey into a world of natural glitter and glow, a gentle question arises. How does life achieve this magic? How does it create light without fire, without heat? What is the secret chemical spark that can illuminate the deepest, darkest corners of our resting world? The answer to how life creates light is not found in a grand, fiery explosion, but in a quiet, graceful, and wonderfully simple chemical recipe. It is a process perfected over hundreds of millions of years, a secret passed down through generations of the planet's most unassuming creatures. At its heart, it is a gentle partnership between two special molecules. Let your mind picture the first of these ingredients, a molecule called luciferin. Think of it as a vessel, a tiny container holding the quiet potential for light. It is the fuel, waiting patiently for its moment. The second ingredient is an enzyme, a helper molecule called luciferase. Imagine this as the key, perfectly shaped to unlock the potential stored within the fuel. When this key, the luciferase, meets the vessel, the luciferin, one final element is needed to complete the trinity, a gentle breath of oxygen. When all three come together, a beautiful and serene reaction unfolds. The luciferase gently unlocks the luciferin, and as the luciferin releases its stored energy, it does so not with a burst of heat, but with a single, pure particle of light. A photon is born. What makes this process so deeply peaceful is its perfect efficiency. Think of a simple light bulb. So much of its energy is lost as heat, a byproduct of a loud and inefficient process. But bioluminescence is different. It is a cold light. Nearly all of the energy from that gentle chemical reaction is transformed directly into soft, cool light. It is a process of pure, silent illumination, a masterclass in energy conservation that feels less like a reaction and more like a quiet exhalation. It is believed that this beautiful ability may have begun as a simple, happy accident. Billions of years ago, for the earliest life on Earth, oxygen was actually a poison. Scientists now think that this chemical reaction may have first evolved as a simple way to get rid of this toxic oxygen, to neutralize it. The light itself was just a harmless, beautiful byproduct. But the gentle, guiding hand of evolution is endlessly creative. This accidental glimmer of light, this soft chemical sigh, was seen for the gift it was. Over countless ages, it was refined, adapted, and woven into the very fabric of life, transformed from a simple defense mechanism into a sophisticated language of light. It's important to know that this gentle, self-made glow is different from another kind of natural light you might see. It is not fluorescence. A fluorescent object, like a beautiful mineral or even the feathers of some parrots, does not create its own light. It simply catches light from an outside source, like the sun, and reflects it back as a different color. It is a mirror, in a way. Bioluminescence is more profound. The light is not borrowed. It is born from within. We can see this beautiful, internal chemistry at work in one of the most beloved creatures of the night, the firefly. Within the firefly's abdomen are special, dedicated cells, and inside these cells the luciferin and luciferase wait patiently. The firefly is the gentle conductor of its own inner light. It controls the flashing simply by controlling its breath, regulating the flow of oxygen to these cells. When it wishes to light up, it allows a tiny puff of oxygen to enter, initiating the quiet reaction and creating a soft pulse of light. To extinguish the glow, it simply withholds the oxygen, and the light gently fades. This precise, rhythmic control is what allows the firefly to create its beautiful, silent conversations, its gentle language of love, written in the warm night air. And so, the gentle mystery of how life creates light reveals itself to be a simple, elegant process, a quiet chemical partnership, a legacy of the ancient earth, a light that is both cool and pure. We now understand the ingredients, we understand the gentle spark. But this brings us to a new and even deeper question. If creating this light costs energy, what profound advantages does it offer that make it worth the price? How is this living light used as a tool in the silent theatre of the forest floor? The reasons for this gentle living light become beautifully clear when we let our minds wander into a deep, ancient forest at night. Imagine walking a path cushioned with soft moss, the air cool and smelling of damp earth and decaying leaves. Here, in the profound quiet, you might notice something magical. A soft, otherworldly glow seems to be breathing from a fallen log, a steady, silent light that asks for nothing and expects nothing. It is a light that seems as old as the forest itself. This ethereal glow has been known for centuries by the beautiful name of foxfire. This is not the light of an animal, but of a different, quieter kingdom of life, the fungi. The light does not come from a mushroom you can pick, but from the fungus itself, from the vast, hidden network of threads called a mycelium. This living web, often sprawling for miles beneath the forest floor, is the true body of the fungus. As it does its slow, patient work of digesting the old, fallen wood, it releases this gentle, steady light. Species like the honey fungus, which can be some of the largest and oldest living organisms on our planet, can create huge, glowing patches of the forest floor, a serene, living carpet of light that can persist for days and nights on end. For so long, the purpose of this gentle glow was a deep and peaceful mystery. Why would a fungus so still and silent expend its energy to create light? The answer, scientists now believe, is a beautiful example of a quiet partnership. The gentle light acts as a beacon in the darkness, attracting the other inhabitants of the night. Tiny insects like beetles and flies are drawn to this soft, mysterious glow, As they crawl over the luminous wood, their legs and bodies become dusted with the fine, invisible spores of the fungus. Then, as they continue their nightly travels, they carry these spores with them, becoming unknowing, gentle gardeners for the fungus, helping it find new logs and new homes throughout the forest. It is a silent, symbiotic dance, a partnership where the fungus provides a guiding light and the insect provides passage for the next generation. In some quiet corners of the world, even the mushrooms themselves glow. The ghost fungus pushes up from the forest floor already shining, its entire form a ghostly beacon, a lantern lit by its own life force. But the fungi are not the only quiet residents of the woods to have learned this language. Let your mind picture a small, many-legged creature, a millipede, making its slow, deliberate way across a leaf. If it is disturbed, if it feels a threat, it doesn't run or fight. Instead, it begins to glow. It lights up its own body with a brilliant, steady light. This is not an invitation, it is a quiet, clear warning. The glow is a form of communication known as aposematism, a signal that is universally understood in the natural world. The light is a memorable way of saying, "I am not what you think. I am toxic, and eating me would bring you discomfort." It is a powerful, honest defense that relies not on aggression, but on a clear, silent broadcast of the truth. The predator sees the light, remembers it, and learns to leave the gentle creature in peace. The whispering woods are full of these steady, serene lights, the constant, peaceful glow of the fungus, offering guidance, the clear, honest warning of the millipede, offering truth. It is a language of being, not of doing. But this language of light is not always so constant. What happens when it becomes more dynamic? What happens when it breaks from a steady glow into a gentle, rhythmic flashing? What messages are being sent in the warm air of a summer meadow? And how does this quiet conversation change when we drift from the forest floor down to the water's edge? The gentle, rhythmic conversations of the meadow find their reflection as we drift away from the land and down to the water's edge. Let your mind settle here, on a quiet, dark beach. The only sound is the soft, sleepy sigh of small waves lapping against the sand. The air is calm. Here, the language of light is not found in a steady glow, but in a brilliant, sparkling response to the world around it. A conversation sparked by the gentle... Imagine yourself walking slowly along the shoreline. With every soft step you take on the damp sand, your footprint behind you blossoms for a moment with a faint, shimmering blue light, like a tiny, fallen constellation. You reach the water's edge and trail your hand in the cool, still sea. As you do, your fingers leave a glowing wake, a river of ethereal blue light that swirls and fades behind your touch. This is the magic of the shimmering sea, a place where the water itself seems to be alive with liquid light. The authors of this peaceful spectacle are almost too small to imagine. They are microscopic, single-celled organisms called dinoflagellates, a type of plankton that drifts gently in the ocean's currents. During the day, they are just a part of the water, unseen and unremarkable. But by night, they transform the sea into a canvas of light. When the water they call home is disturbed, by a wave lapping the shore, a fish swimming through, or your hand trailing in the water, they answer with an instantaneous, beautiful flash of soft blue light. The reason for this sparkling response is a beautifully clever and peaceful strategy for survival, a gentle idea known as the burglar alarm theory. Picture, in your mind, a tiny creature, a crustacean no bigger than a grain of sand, as it begins to nibble on the even tinier dinoflagellates. For the plankton, this is a moment of danger, and so, as they are touched, they flash. This sudden, brilliant burst of light does not harm the tiny crustacean, but it does something far more clever. It illuminates it. It turns it into a tiny, shining beacon in the dark water. The flash is a quiet, desperate cry for help, a living alarm system that wordlessly announces, there is a disturbance here. A larger creature, perhaps a small, watchful fish, is drawn by this sudden glimmer of light. It swoops in and eats the glowing crustacean. And in doing so, it saves the countless other dinoflagellates from the same fate. It is a quiet sacrifice of a few to ensure the peace and safety of the many. This gentle, living alarm system creates some of the most profoundly magical experiences nature has to offer. In certain bays around the world, the conditions are just right for these tiny, light-giving organisms to gather in immense numbers. The most famous of these is called Mosquito Bay on the little island of Vieques in Puerto Rico. Here, the water is so thick with this living light that to float here on a dark night is to feel as though you are drifting through the stars. Imagine dipping a paddle into the still, black water. As you pull it back, it creates a swirling vortex of brilliant blue light. You can see the trails of fish as they dart beneath you like glowing torpedoes in the deep. To swim here is to be surrounded by a soft, personal aura of shimmering energy, a gentle light that responds to your every slow movement. It is a peaceful, living light show, a fleeting masterpiece painted by the gentle dance of water and life. This beautiful, explosive light on the surface is a conversation, a reaction to the world around it. But what happens when we leave this surface world behind? What happens when we drift down, away from the air and the moon, and sink into a world where sunlight has never reached, a world of absolute and perpetual night? What purpose could light possibly serve in the deep, crushing blackness of the abyss? Let your mind drift now, away from the shimmering surface, and allow it to sink slowly, gently down into the deep ocean. Deeper and deeper we go, past the world of sparkling blue, into a realm of profound and eternal twilight. We sink further still, until the last faint ghost of sunlight from the world above has completely vanished. Here we have arrived in the abyss. It is a world of immense, quiet pressure, a world of deep, unwavering cold, and a world of absolute, unending night. It is a realm so still and so dark it could be mistaken for an empty corner of outer space. And yet it is here, in this place of perfect blackness, that the story of living light becomes its most beautiful and most profound. In the abyss, bioluminescence is not just a special trick, it is the primary language of life. The vast majority of creatures that call this deep, quiet world their home have learned to create their own light. They carry their own small lanterns, their own soft stars, with them through the endless dark. One of the most famous of these deep-sea residents is the anglerfish. In your mind, picture not a monster, but a single, solitary point of soft blue light, hanging suspended in an infinite watery space. This light comes from a gentle lure that drifts before the fish, a living beacon in the deep. In a world where there is nothing else to see, this single hypnotic glow becomes a point of gentle curiosity. Other small creatures drifting through the quiet blackness are drawn to this mysterious, peaceful light. It is a quiet, patient, and irresistible invitation in a world of otherwise featureless calm. But in the deep, light is used just as often for finding peace as it is for finding food. It is used to become invisible, to disappear into the quiet backdrop of the abyss. Imagine a delicate, silver creature like the hatchetfish. It lives its life in the twilight zone, where the faintest, most ghostly light from the surface world still manages to filter down. For a hunter looking up from the true blackness below, the hatchetfish's body would create a dark silhouette against this dim sky. But the hatchetfish has a beautiful secret. Its belly is lined with tiny light-producing organs, and it can control the brightness of these lights with incredible precision. It creates a soft, gentle glow on its underside that perfectly matches the faint light coming from above. It performs a quiet, vanishing act, using its own light to erase its own shadow. It is a form of camouflage so perfect, it is like becoming a ghost, a way of finding perfect tranquility by blending seamlessly into the deep, quiet world around it. And light is also used for gentle self-defense. Picture a small, deep-sea shrimp as it is disturbed from its peaceful drifting. It does not struggle or flee in a panic. Instead, it releases a soft, luminous cloud into the water. It is a gentle puff of glowing blue ink, a sparkling distraction that creates a moment of beautiful confusion. The soft, glowing cloud hangs in the water, and under its cover, the shrimp quietly, peacefully drifts away. And in the vast, quiet loneliness of the deep sea, light is also the language of connection. Many creatures, from fish to squid, have unique, specific patterns of light along their bodies. These gentle, glowing dots and dashes are like a personal signature, a quiet way of announcing who they are. In the immense darkness, these living barcodes allow them to find one another, to recognize a kindred spirit from afar. It is a serene and beautiful way of saying, I am like you, we are of the same kind. The flashlight fish, for example, has a small pouch of glowing bacteria just beneath its eye. It can cover and uncover this light with a tiny flap of skin, sending out slow, rhythmic pulses of light into the darkness, like a gentle, deep-sea telegraph operator, sending out a quiet message of presence into the vast, silent night. In the abyss, light is a soft lure, a peaceful shield, a quiet love song, and a gentle statement of being. We have seen how life creates its own light as a tool for its own survival, from the forest floor to the deepest ocean. But is it possible for us to learn from this natural, peaceful magic? Can the quiet secrets of the firefly and the deep-sea fish help to illuminate our own world in a gentler, more sustainable way? We have journeyed so far into the world of natural living light, from the forest floor to the deepest, darkest abyss. We have seen how life uses this gentle glow for its own quiet purposes, and as we float in this peaceful awareness, we arrive back at that gentle question: can we, in our own world, learn from this soft and silent magic? Can the quiet secrets of the firefly and the deep-sea fish help to illuminate our own future? The answer, just beginning to unfold, is as wondrous as the light itself. Scientists and dreamers, inspired by nature's serene efficiency, are learning to borrow this ancient chemical recipe. They are not trying to capture fireflies in a jar, but are gently borrowing the genetic instructions for creating luciferin and luciferase, the fuel and the key for this living light. Imagine for a moment a city street at night, but instead of the harsh electric glare of streetlights, the trees that line the pavement are softly glowing. Their leaves, gifted with the gentle secret of bioluminescence, cast a soft, cool, and living light onto the path below. It is a dream of a future where our cities are not just lit, but are alive with a gentle, breathing light. A future where we live in partnership with nature's quiet glow. This is not a fantasy. It is a gentle goal that researchers are slowly, patiently working towards. A future lit by silent, living lanterns. In the world of medicine, this gentle light is already performing quiet miracles. Scientists have learned to attach the light-making molecules to other things, like viruses, or even the cells that cause disease. By doing this, they can watch these processes unfold within a living body in real time. They can see how a disease spreads, not by looking at charts or numbers, but by watching a soft, gentle light move and change. It allows them to observe the most intricate and hidden battles taking place within us, turning the body into a soft constellation of information. This gentle light becomes a guide, helping researchers to understand illness in a profoundly new way, and to find new, gentler paths towards healing. It is a quiet beacon of hope in a world that can often seem complex and uncertain. This living light is also helping us to care for our planet. Think of a farmer's field, stretching out under the night sky. Researchers are developing plants that can tell us when they are thirsty or unwell, not with a flashing alarm, but with a subtle change in their gentle, bioluminescent glow. A field of crops could communicate its needs in a silent, beautiful language of light, allowing us to provide water and care only when and where it is needed. It is a way of listening to the quiet voice of the land itself. In our rivers and oceans, this same principle is being used to detect pollution. Scientists can use bacteria that glow in the presence of specific toxins. By simply observing the water, they can see where it is clean and healthy, and where it needs our help, all guided by the honest, silent signal of a living light. It is a beautiful thought that the same quiet chemistry that guides a firefly to its mate, or helps a fungus find a new home, can also be used to light our cities, heal our bodies, and protect our precious planet. It is a partnership, a gentle borrowing of an ancient wisdom. We are not commanding nature, but learning from its serene and perfect efficiency. We are learning to use a light that is cool, a light that is clean, and a light that is alive. The soft glow we see in the deepest parts of the world is slowly finding its way into our own, not as a harsh invention, but as a quiet, inherited gift. Now that we have seen how this gentle, living light can illuminate even our own world, what final, peaceful message does it hold for us in its silent, steady glow? Our quiet journey tonight has carried us through a world painted in living light. We began with a simple, gentle chemical spark, a quiet partnership of molecules creating a single, pure photon. From there, we drifted through whispering woods, where the very ground beneath our feet seemed to breathe with a soft, steady glow. We trailed our hands in shimmering seas that answered our touch with swirling galaxies of blue light. We sank down into the peaceful, silent abyss, where life carries its own stars through the endless darkness, using them to find its way, to protect itself, and to connect with others. We have even seen how this gentle, natural magic is now beginning to illuminate our own world in quiet and hopeful ways. As we rest here at the end of this exploration, surrounded by the memory of all this gentle light, what is the final peaceful message that it holds for us? Perhaps it is a message of profound ingenuity and perfect serene efficiency. In a world where our own efforts to create light can be loud, hot, and wasteful, nature offers a quieter, gentler model. It shows us that it is possible to create light without fire, to illuminate without struggle, to produce a cold, clean light born from the very essence of life itself. It speaks to a different way of being, a way that is elegant, sustainable, and deeply, peacefully interconnected. The soft light of a fungus is tied to the quiet travels of an insect. The sparkling light of a plankton is tied to the gentle balance of the ocean. Every single spark is a part of a larger, silent story. Bioluminescence is a soft and beautiful reminder that, even in the most profound, overwhelming darkness, life does not despair. It finds a way not just to survive, but to create its own beauty, its own hope, its own gentle constellations. The next time you happen to see a firefly floating in a quiet summer meadow, perhaps you will see it differently. You might see not just a tiny insect, but a master chemist, a silent messenger of the night, a peaceful spark carrying the quiet legacy of 1 billion years of evolution. The living lights of our world are a precious and fragile gift, a testament to the endless wonders still waiting to be discovered, and a quiet plea to protect these delicate, glowing worlds before their gentle, peaceful lights have a chance to fade away. In our last journey together, we drifted through a world of living light, a realm where creatures create their own gentle stars to find their way in the darkness. We saw how life can fill an empty space with its own beautiful, quiet glow, turning the night from a void into a vibrant, luminous home. But for countless other species, the darkness is not a place to simply reside. It is a path to be taken. It is a safe and silent highway that allows for some of the most ancient, arduous, and awe-inspiring journeys on our planet. Tonight, we turn our attention from the residents of the night to its quiet travelers. We will let our minds drift alongside the great migrations that unfold under the soft cover of darkness. Great journeys undertaken by wings, fins, and feet, all guided by a wisdom that feels both ancient and profound. We will imagine ourselves joining the billions of tiny songbirds as they create invisible rivers in the sky, navigating by the faint light of distant stars and crossing entire continents, while we are deep in our own slumber. We will witness the breathtaking, silent exodus of millions of bats, a swirling, living vortex pouring from the mouth of a single cave to become the gentle guardians of the night. And then we will travel with the ancient mariners of the sea, the great turtles who emerge from the waves to nest on quiet, moonlit beaches, guided by an invisible map they have carried within them for millennia. These journeys are not chaotic wanderings, they are precise, purposeful, and essential for life. They are undertaken with a deep, instinctual calm, but as we imagine these silent processions, a gentle mystery presents itself. We, with all our modern tools, can still find ourselves lost on a dark and unfamiliar road. How do these creatures, many so small and seemingly simple, navigate with such unerring accuracy over thousands of miles of featureless ocean or unseen land, all in the profound darkness of the night? What secret compass do they carry within them, and what ancient, silent maps do they read in the sky above? The choice to embark on a great and demanding journey under the deep, quiet cover of darkness is not a decision born of fear, but one of profound strategic wisdom. For these quiet travelers, the night offers a collection of gentle advantages, a series of soft gifts that make the darkness the only logical time to move. It is a choice for peace, for safety, and for serene efficiency. The first and most precious of these gifts is safety. Let your mind imagine a tiny songbird, a creature so light it seems almost weightless, as it prepares to cross a vast and unfamiliar landscape. The world of daylight for this small traveller is a world of constant watchfulness. The sharp, keen eyes of hawks and eagles rule the daytime skies, turning a long flight into a stressful and dangerous trial. But the night offers a gentle, protective shield. The darkness becomes a soft cloak of invisibility, quieting the world and allowing the little bird to pass by largely unseen. The journey becomes not a gauntlet of fear, but a peaceful and focused pilgrimage. We see this same gentle wisdom at work on a moonlit beach. Imagine a tiny sea turtle hatchling, its life just beginning. It pushes its way out of the warm sand of its nest, its instincts calling it towards the sea. To emerge into the bright, harsh light of day would be to enter a world of immediate peril. Gulls would circle overhead, and ghost crabs would watch from their burrows. But by waiting for the cool quiet of the night, the hatchling gives itself a deep and profound advantage. Under the gentle protection of the darkness, its frantic scramble to the water's edge is a much safer journey, a first act of life shielded by the peaceful embrace of the night. The second gift of the darkness is one of pure physical relief. A great migration is one of the most demanding things a creature will ever do. It is a slow, steady burning of precious energy, a journey that pushes the body to its absolute limits. To undertake such a voyage in the heat of the sun would be an impossible task, leading to rapid exhaustion and a desperate need for water. The night, however, brings a soothing coolness to the air. It is a gift of efficiency. This gentle, cool air allows a bird to fly for hours on end, or a turtle to swim with steady power, without the danger of overheating. It allows them to conserve every last drop of their precious water and every bit of their stored energy, resources that are absolutely critical for completing their epic passage. This is especially true for those whose journeys take them across vast and unforgiving places, like a wide empty desert, or a seemingly endless stretch of open ocean, where there is no place to rest and no water to be found. The cool of the night is what makes these incredible journeys possible. And finally, the night offers a gentle and predictable path. The air of the daytime is often a turbulent and invisible chaos. The sun heats the earth, creating unpredictable currents and columns of rising air. For a tiny bird on a journey of 1,000 miles, fighting against this invisible turbulence would be a constant and draining struggle. The night air, in contrast, is typically smoother, calmer, and more stable. The currents are gentle and predictable. The path forward becomes a smooth and silent highway in the sky, allowing for a steady, rhythmic wingbeat, a journey of grace and ease. And so, the night is not a lesser choice. It is not a concession to the dangers of the day. For these travelers, it is the perfect condition for their journey, a peaceful and supportive environment that offers a cloak of safety, the gift of cool efficiency, and a gentle, steady path forward. But while the darkness provides this wonderful, protective shield, it also takes away the most obvious of all navigational aids, the ability to see the world around you. This leads us to the most profound mystery of all. How do you find your way when you cannot see the path? High above are sleeping towns and quiet fields, in the vast, silent cathedral of the night sky. A breathtaking and invisible spectacle is unfolding. It is a great and silent river of life, a gentle procession of billions of birds, from the tiniest, most delicate warblers to the strong and steady thrushes. They are navigating a complex and ancient network of aerial highways, pathways that are written not on the earth, but in the sky itself. We now understand the deep peace and safety that the night offers them. But this understanding only opens the door to a deeper, more profound mystery. How do they find their way? The answer is a quiet symphony of senses. A masterful ability to read the subtle, gentle cues of the planet. Their primary map, it seems, is the sky itself. These small nocturnal travelers are expert astronomers. They do not just see a random, glittering collection of stars. They understand the serene and predictable geometry of the heavens. Before a young bird ever makes its first long journey, it spends many nights simply watching. It watches the slow, graceful rotation of the stars across the sky. And from this patient observation, it learns a crucial piece of wisdom. It learns to identify the one single point in the sky that does not move, the quiet, still center around which all the other stars gracefully turn. In our northern hemisphere, this is the area around Polaris, the North Star. This becomes the bird's true and steady north, a fixed beacon of light in the vast, turning universe. It is a map far more reliable than any landmark on the ground, a map that is always there for them, a quiet friend in the sky, as long as the night is clear. But what happens on those nights, when the sky is shrouded in clouds, when the stars are hidden behind a soft grey blanket? The bird is not lost. It simply turns to another of its senses, a quiet internal compass, so different from our own that it feels like a gentle magic. This sense is called magnetoreception. It is the ability to feel the Earth's own magnetic field. Imagine for a moment that you could feel the invisible lines of energy that flow from the North Pole to the South Pole, a gentle, constant current that surrounds our entire planet. The bird can feel this. While the exact mechanism is still a peaceful mystery we are unraveling, the most beautiful theory is that the bird can actually see this field. It is believed that a special protein in the bird's eye, when it absorbs a particle of light, is gently influenced by the direction of the magnetic field. This may allow the bird to perceive the field as a soft visual pattern that is laid over its normal vision, a kind of natural map of gentle light, always showing it the direction of home. It is a compass that and even these two incredible senses are not all that they rely on. They gather information in a slow, holistic way. As the sun makes its final, graceful dip below the horizon, they can see the pattern of polarized light in the twilight sky, a pattern that is invisible to our own eyes. This gives them one last, perfect bearing, a final, beautiful cue to calibrate their internal compass before they take flight. It is also believed that they can hear the deep, low-frequency hum of the planet itself, the infrasound of distant ocean waves or wind moving over mountains, giving them a gentle, acoustic map of the world ahead. It is a quiet masterpiece of navigation, a gentle weaving together of the stars, of magnetism, of light, and of sound. It is how a tiny creature, weighing almost nothing, can cross a continent with a serene precision that fills us with a deep and peaceful sense of wonder. But these birds are not the only masters of the night sky. What happens when a different kind of creature takes flight? What happens when a mammal takes to the air, in numbers so vast and so dense that they appear like a great, living cloud on our most sensitive weather radar? The great, silent highways of the night sky are not reserved for the feathered travelers alone. Let your mind now drift to the warm, dusky air of the Texas hill country. The sun has painted the western sky in soft shades of orange and rose, and a deep sense of peace is settling over the land. Here, within the cool, dark heart of a vast limestone cavern known as Bracken Cave, a different kind of traveller begins to stir. As the last light fades, one of the most breathtaking migrations on our planet begins. It does not start with a rush, but with a gentle, swirling motion. From the deep, dark mouth of the cave, a living vortex begins to rise into the evening sky. It is a slow, spiraling cyclone made of millions upon millions of tiny, winged mammals. This is the great nightly exodus of the Mexican free-tailed bats. For hours, this silent, living river continues to pour into the twilight, a dense, dark cloud of life that flows out across the landscape. It is not a chaotic swarm, but a spectacle of deep, collective and coordinated movement, a peaceful and purposeful journey beginning anew, as it does every night. And even these two incredible senses are not all that they rely on. They gather information in a slow, holistic way. As the sun makes its final, graceful dip below the horizon, they can see the pattern of polarized light in the twilight sky, a pattern that is invisible to our own eyes. This gives them one last, perfect bearing, a final, beautiful cue to calibrate their internal compass before they take flight. It is also believed that they can hear the deep, low-frequency hum of the planet itself, the infrasound of distant ocean waves or wind moving over mountains, giving them a gentle, acoustic map of the world ahead. It is a quiet masterpiece of navigation, a gentle weaving together of the stars, of magnetism, of light, and of sound. It is how a tiny creature, weighing almost nothing, can cross a continent with a serene precision that fills us with a deep and peaceful sense of wonder. But these birds are not the only masters of the night sky. What happens when a different kind of creature takes flight? What happens when a mammal takes to the air, in numbers so vast and so dense that they appear like a great, living cloud on our most sensitive weather radar? The great, silent highways of the night sky are not reserved for the feathered travelers alone. Let your mind now drift to the warm, dusky air of the Texas hill country. The sun has painted the western sky in soft shades of orange and rose, and a deep sense of peace is settling over the land. Here, within the cool, dark heart of a vast limestone cavern known as Bracken Cave, a different kind of traveller begins to stir. As the last light fades, one of the most breathtaking migrations on our planet begins. It does not start with a rush, but with a gentle, swirling motion. From the deep, dark mouth of the cave, a living vortex begins to rise into the evening sky. It is a slow, spiraling cyclone made of millions upon millions of tiny, winged mammals. This is the great nightly exodus of the Mexican free-tailed bats. For hours, this silent, living river continues to pour into the twilight, a dense, dark cloud of life that flows out across the landscape. It is not a chaotic swarm, but a spectacle of deep, collective and coordinated movement, a peaceful and purposeful journey beginning anew, as it does every night. This incredible pilgrimage is a nightly quest for food. The residents of Bracken Cave make up the largest known colony of mammals on our entire planet, and their journey is one of vital importance. Imagine this gentle, living cloud spreading out over the quiet landscape. Each night, this single colony of bats will consume hundreds of tons of insects, primarily the moths that would otherwise feed on the crops that sustain us. They are the quiet, gentle guardians of the night fields. They are a natural, incredibly effective and peaceful form of pest control, a silent, winged fleet that protects the slumbering farmlands and saves a precious harvest. Their nightly journey is a vital and calming service, a deep and rhythmic pulse that is woven into the very health of the land. We know that these gentle creatures use a remarkable sense called echolocation to find their way in the dark, sending out tiny, silent clicks and reading the soft echoes that return to them. This allows them to create a perfect, detailed map of their immediate surroundings, helping them to find a single, tiny moth in the vast darkness. But their longer journey, the great migration from the cave and back again, is guided by a different and more complex map. It is a quiet mosaic of techniques, a wisdom similar to that of the birds. They remember the shape of the land, following the gentle curves of rivers and the soft outlines of hills. The younger, less experienced bats learn the way by following their elders, a silent apprenticeship in the sky, and they, too, seem to carry a quiet compass within them. Scientists have found that these gentle mammals also have a magnetic sense, an internal awareness of the Earth's own energy field that gives them a constant and reliable sense of direction. It is another layer of their deep and mysterious connection to the planet, another quiet sense that guides them on their long journeys between their summer homes in Texas and their winter roosts in Mexico. The nightly emergence from Bracken Cave is a powerful and peaceful reminder of the deep interconnectedness of our world. It is a display of how a single, collective journey, undertaken by millions of tiny, gentle beings, can sustain the health of an entire landscape. The bats of Bracken Cave are not just travelers, they are caretakers of the quiet night. They have mastered the darkness, using it as their peaceful highway, but their journey, while vast, is a nightly one. What about a journey that doesn't just span a few hundred miles of sky, but thousands of miles of open, seemingly featureless ocean?
Let us now leave the soft, dark skies and allow our minds to sink gently down into the warm, quiet waters of the ocean. Here we will follow a creature on one of the most ancient, solitary and profoundly mysterious journeys of all. Imagine a great loggerhead sea turtle, a gentle giant of the sea. After decades spent roaming the vast open ocean, she feels a deep, quiet and irresistible pull. It is a feeling that has been slowly growing within her, a silent hum of memory calling her home. She is not just returning to the general area where she was born, but often, with breathtaking precision, to the very same stretch of sandy beach. Her journey may have covered thousands of miles of what seems to us like a featureless blue wilderness, and yet she navigates back, a solitary mariner on a sacred and ancient pilgrimage. Her story, and the secret to her journey, began on a similar, quiet night many, many years ago. As a tiny hatchling, no bigger than the palm of your hand, her very first act of life was a desperate, determined scramble across the sand. She and her dozens of siblings pushed their way out of their deep, sandy nest together, emerging into the safety of the night. This timing was their first gift from the darkness, a shield from the hot sun and the watchful eyes of daytime predators. Their first navigational task was guided by a single, simple, and beautiful instinct: move towards the brightest, lowest point on the horizon. On a natural, undeveloped beach, this is always the gentle, shimmering light of the moon and stars reflecting on the open ocean. This one, simple, peaceful cue is what guides the tiny turtles away from the dark shadows of the dunes and into the gentle safety of the waves. But once she drifted into the ocean, a new, far more sophisticated guidance system awakened within her. Sea turtles are the quiet masters of a sense we are only just beginning to understand. They can feel the Earth's magnetic field. This sense, called magnetoreception, is not just a simple compass pointing north. It is a rich, detailed and living map of the entire planet. The turtle can feel not only the direction of the invisible magnetic lines that flow around the globe, but also their angle as they dip towards the Earth's surface, and even their gentle intensity. Because these properties change in a steady and predictable way as one moves across the globe, they provide the turtle with a kind of natural GPS. She can sense her position, her latitude and longitude, in the vast, empty expanse of the ocean, simply by feeling the quiet magnetic song of the planet. This is the ancient secret she carries within her shell. This is the map that allows her, after 20 or 30 years of wandering through the great ocean currents, to find her way home. She travels mostly at night, resting during the day, using the darkness as her peaceful cloak. Her final return to the shore is also a nocturnal event. Under the soft light of the moon, she hauls her heavy body from the gentle surf and begins the slow, laborious crawl up the beach. She is searching for a safe place, a quiet spot above the high tide line where she can dig her nest and lay her own eggs, continuing a cycle that is millions of years old. It is a moment of profound vulnerability, a sacred and exhausting ritual, and the peaceful quiet of the night is her only shield. She is following a script written in her very being, a deep wisdom passed down through countless generations of mothers before her. This ancient system of navigation is a quiet miracle, perfected over eons in a world that followed the natural, gentle rhythm of a dark night and a bright day. But this perfect ancient system is now facing a new and profound challenge, a challenge it was never designed to overcome. What happens when our own modern world shines its bright, artificial lights into hers?
What happens when the beautiful, trustworthy maps that she has always followed begin to lead her and her tiny hatchlings astray? The incredible and ancient navigational abilities of these quiet travelers, the soft star maps of the birds, the deep magnetic compass of the turtles, the gentle landscape memory of the bats, all of these wondrous senses evolved over millions of years in a world that followed a perfect, peaceful, and predictable rhythm. It was a world of profound natural darkness, punctuated only by the gentle light of the moon and the stars. But in the most recent, fleeting moments of our planet's history, we have quietly, and without meaning to, changed that ancient rhythm. The single greatest challenge to these timeless journeys is a new and gentle kind of pollution, the soft, pervasive glow of our own artificial light at night. Let your mind return to that tiny sea turtle hatchling, emerging from the sand, ready for its first journey. Its deep, unwavering instinct is to travel towards the brightest, lowest horizon, a simple rule that for eons has guided it safely to the shimmering sea. But on a modern beach, the soft, gentle light of the ocean is often overpowered by the steady, artificial glow of our world. The lights from coastal homes, from quiet streets, and from distant towns create a new, false horizon. And so, the tiny turtle, following the same ancient and trustworthy instinct, turns and crawls in the wrong direction. Disoriented by our gentle glow, it crawls towards the land, towards parking lots and quiet roads, a journey that leads only to exhaustion under the soft, artificial light. It is a quiet tragedy, a perfect and ancient map made unreadable by our own steady, sleepless glow. For the migratory birds, high in the sky, our lights create a different kind of gentle confusion. On clear nights, they can look past our world and see their trusted stars. But on nights with a soft blanket of clouds, our lights reflect off the cloud cover, creating a vast, luminous dome in the sky. The birds, lost without their stars, are drawn into this soft, glowing trap. They will fly in endless, gentle circles within this dome of light, disoriented and unable to find their way out. This quiet, circling flight burns up their precious and limited energy they desperately need for their long journey. Many will fly until they are too exhausted to continue, their ancient pilgrimage cut short by a beautiful but bewildering sky of our own making. And this challenge is made deeper by the slow, quiet disappearance of the places they are traveling to. A great migration is not just a single, long journey from a starting point to a destination. It is a quiet chain of peaceful, essential resting places. A lush wetland, a quiet forest, a secluded marsh, where the travelers must stop to rest and refuel. And as our own world expands, we have, without malice, begun to break the links in this ancient chain. A bird may navigate perfectly for 1,000 miles, guided by the stars and the earth's own gentle hum, only to arrive and find that the quiet marsh it has relied on for generations has become a place of human activity. The journey stalls, its rhythm broken. For the great sea turtles, the slow hardening of our coastlines with sea walls and other structures can mean that the peaceful, sandy beach their memory is calling them home to is no longer there or is no longer reachable. For the gentle bats, the loss of ancient forests and the disturbance of their quiet, dark caves removes the safe and peaceful homes they need to rest and raise their young. And yet there is a deep and gentle hope in this story. As our awareness of these quiet struggles grows, so does our desire to help. People in great cities have begun to dim their lights during the peak weeks of migration, a simple act of quiet kindness that allows the birds to pass safely overhead. On coastal beaches, new kinds of lights are being used, soft amber lights that point down towards the ground, casting a gentle glow that does not confuse the tiny, newly born turtles. And all over the world, people are working to protect and restore the quiet, wild places that serve as vital links in these ancient, migratory chains.
It is a quiet and beautiful reminder that we are not helpless, that we have the power to dim our lights, and in doing so, give the darkness and the travelers who depend on it back to the night. We see the challenges and we see the hope. But as we reflect on these incredible journeys, these silent rivers of life flowing across our sleeping planet, what is the ultimate, peaceful message they carry for us in their quiet, steady rhythm? Our quiet journey tonight has followed the great, silent currents of life that flow across our planet while the world sleeps. We have drifted on the cool night air, imagining the invisible rivers of songbirds as they navigate by the soft light of the stars. We have felt the awesome, peaceful power of the living vortex of bats pouring from their cave to become the gentle caretakers of the land. We have floated in the warm, dark ocean, following the ancient, solitary path of the great sea turtle as she answers the quiet call of her own memory, a call that leads her home. In these journeys, we have felt the deep and peaceful wisdom of the darkness. We have learned that for millions of creatures, the night is not a time of rest, but a time of profound and gentle purpose. It is a soft shield from danger, a cool and calming path that allows for journeys of incredible, quiet endurance. We have marveled at the silent maps they carry within them, a compass that reads the gentle hum of the planet, and a celestial chart that understands the steady, silent dance of the stars.
We have also felt the quiet sadness of the challenges these ancient travelers now face. We have seen how our own constant, gentle light can lead them astray, turning their trusted maps into sources of confusion. And yet, we are not left with a sense of despair, but with a feeling of deep wonder and a quiet sense of responsibility. Knowing about these gentle challenges allows us to be part of the gentle solution. The simple act of dimming a light becomes an act of profound kindness, a gesture of respect for these ancient, sacred journeys. Ultimately, these great nocturnal migrations are the quiet, steady heartbeat of our living planet. They are a peaceful reminder that our world is interconnected in ways we can only begin to feel, that the health of a quiet forest here is tied to the journey of a tiny bird from far away. These gentle movements stitch our world together. They are a testament to the deep resilience, the quiet wisdom, and the peaceful determination of life. And they continue, every single night, all around us, a profound and gentle rhythm that unfolds long after we have closed our own eyes to sleep. In our last journey together, we followed the great and silent travelers of the night. We drifted alongside the birds as they navigated by the soft light of the stars, and we swam with the ancient sea turtles, feeling them find their way home across the vast, quiet oceans. We felt the deep, profound peace of their purposeful and silent journeys. But the world these gentle creatures travel through is anything but silent. If we pause our own thoughts and simply allow ourselves to listen, we begin to discover that the darkness is not a void. It is a resonant chamber, a space filled with a rich, complex and beautiful symphony of sound. The night is not an absence of information. It simply favors a different, deeper sense. When our sight fails us in the darkness, it is our hearing that truly awakens to the world. Tonight, for our final journey together, we will gently close our eyes and allow our ears to open. We will let our minds become quiet and still, and we will immerse ourselves in the soundscape of the night, learning to decode the intricate, peaceful symphony that rises from the sleeping landscape. We will let the sounds carry us to the misty, cool wetlands, where the very air hums with the deep, rhythmic chorus of amphibians. We will listen to the high, intricate songs of the insects, a secret and ancient language chirped softly into the darkness. We will feel the deep, soul-stirring howl of a distant mammal as it announces its peaceful presence to the world. We will explore how sound is used to find a mate, to defend a quiet space, and to simply say, in the most serene way, "I am here." We will learn that the cool, dense air of the night is a perfect vessel for sound, allowing these gentle voices to travel farther and with greater clarity than they can during the turbulent heat of the day. The night, you see, is a stage that is perfectly set for a grand acoustic performance. But this performance is not a chaotic jumble of noise. It is an organized and deeply meaningful orchestra, a symphony that has been refined over millions of years. So, as we settle in and begin to truly listen to the darkness, a quiet question arises. Beyond the calls of individual creatures, what happens when thousands of these gentle voices join together, not in a loud cacophony, but in a structured, pulsing chorus that becomes the very heartbeat of the night? There is perhaps no soundscape in the world more immersive, more ancient, or more deeply peaceful than the gentle chorus of a wetland at night. Let your mind drift now to the soft, dark edge of a still and quiet pond. The air is cool and heavy with the scent of damp earth and sweet, night-blooming water lilies. And as you settle into this peaceful scene, you begin to feel a sound as much as you hear it. It is a deep, resonant and steady hum that seems to rise from the water itself, from the muddy banks, and from the tall reeds that sway gently in the night air. This is the grand orchestra of the amphibians, and it is a performance of stunning, serene complexity. This is not a chaotic, random collection of noises. It is a true symphony, a piece of music that has been composed and refined over millions of years. Every creature has its own unique voice, its own specific instrument and part to play in the chorus. Imagine you can hear the tiny spring peepers. Their call is a high-pitched, delicate, and almost bell-like sound, a chorus of thousands of tiny voices that creates a shimmering, beautiful texture in the air. Then, beneath that high, gentle sound, you can feel the deep, sonorous thrum of the bullfrog. Its jug-a-rum call provides the orchestra's bassline, a steady, grounding, and profoundly peaceful rhythm that seems to vibrate through the very earth itself, and in between you might hear the short, sharp, almost banjo-like pluck of the green frog's call, adding another layer of instrumentation, another texture to the beautiful music. This incredible specificity is essential. For a female frog floating silently in the dark water, the great chorus is a vast social gathering, and she is listening for one particular voice. Her hearing is tuned to the exact pitch and rhythm of her own species, allowing her to filter out all the other beautiful sounds and home in on the one call that is meant for her. It is a perfect system for finding a partner in a world that is crowded and dark, and this incredible symphony is organized not just by the different voices but by space and time as well. Scientists have a gentle name for this. They call it acoustic partitioning. To make sure that its own special song is not lost in the great choir, each species has found its own quiet space, its own acoustic niche. Some frogs will call from high up in the reeds, their voices carrying from above. Others will float on the surface of the water, their calls becoming part of the gentle lapping of the pond itself. And still others will sing from the soft, muddy banks. They have found their own frequency, their own pitch that is slightly higher or lower than their neighbors. It is a masterful, gentle, and self-organizing system that allows every voice to have its place, every instrument to be heard clearly in the grand, peaceful performance of the night. And what is the purpose of all this beautiful, serene music? It is, in its simplest form, a quiet conversation about life. The males are the musicians, and their song is both a gentle competition and a deeply honest advertisement. A male's call is a true signal of his health and his strength. A deep, loud and steady call, one that can last all night long, tells a listening female that he is large, that he is healthy, and that he has the great energy required to be a good father. She can judge the quality of dozens of hopeful singers from the quiet safety of the water, guided only by the honest, peaceful sound of their song. The wetlands at night are truly alive with this beautiful, complex and vital conversation, a pulsing, rhythmic heartbeat that brings the whole landscape to life. But this low, deep and gentle hum of the frogs is only the foundation of the night's music. What about the high-frequency musicians? What tiny creatures fill the upper registers of the symphony with a sound so intricate, so delicate and so precise that it can be considered a secret, coded language? As we let our hearing drift away from the deep, resonant chorus of the wetlands, we begin to perceive another layer of the nocturnal symphony. It is a steady, high-pitched and beautifully intricate sound, a gentle hum that seems to be woven into the very fabric of the night itself. This is the quiet music of the insects, the tireless and tiny instrumentalists who fill the warm darkness with their vibrant, rhythmic songs. Theirs is not a music of the voice. They are not singing with their breath in the way a bird or a frog might. They are the world's most patient and peaceful mechanical musicians, creating their gentle sounds through a process called stridulation, the simple, elegant, and ancient art of rubbing one small part of their body against another. The most well-known of these gentle, six-legged instrumentalists is the cricket. The familiar, peaceful chirp that has been the soundtrack to so many quiet summer evenings is a tiny mechanical miracle. The male cricket produces this sound by gently rubbing a sharp scraper on one of his wings against a delicate, file-like ridge on his other wing. In essence, he is playing a tiny, natural violin, and its soft, serene song is a beacon of profound purpose sent out into the world. The steady, rhythmic chirp that you hear is his calling song, a clear and honest broadcast sent into the darkness to attract a female. It is a song that speaks of his location and his species, a pure, clean signal that cuts through the other sounds of the night. The rhythm of this peaceful song is so finely tuned that it is often connected directly to the temperature of the air. The warmer the night, the faster the cricket will gently chirp, his own quiet biology linked in a beautiful and simple harmony with the feeling of the world around him. His close relatives, the katydids, produce a sound that is often even more complex and varied. Their calls are intricate and lyrical, with some species creating the distinct melodic phrase that gives them their name, a gentle three-part call of katydid. This is often more than just a simple broadcast. For many katydids, it is a true and quiet conversation, a gentle call and response duet that takes place between a male and a receptive female. He will send his soft question out into the darkness, and she will reply with a gentle click of her own, their back and forth chirps becoming a quiet, homing beacon, a thread of sound that allows them to find one another in the vast, dark meadow. To truly appreciate the deep, serene complexity of these insect songs, scientists use special tools to create pictures of the sounds, creating visual maps called spectrograms. What our ears might perceive as a simple, steady chirp is revealed in these images to be an incredibly intricate pattern of pulses and frequencies, a song with delicate structure, a precise rhythm, and a wealth of hidden information. It is a quiet, coded language spoken in a dialect of vibrations, rich with meaning about the singer's health, his intentions, and his place in the world. When we listen to the night as a whole, this constant, high-frequency hum of millions of tiny instruments is more than just a collection of individual love songs. It becomes the sonic texture of the night itself. It creates a kind of sound blanket that gently covers the entire landscape. This constant, peaceful layer of sound can, in itself, be a form of gentle protection for all the creatures of the night. It can mask the subtle, tiny noises of movement, the soft footfall of a fox or the quiet rustle of a mouse, making it just a little bit harder for predators and their prey to detect one another by sound alone. It is the sound of a healthy, vibrant ecosystem at work, the gentle, collective hum of life's tiniest engines running smoothly and peacefully through the night. We have now listened to the deep, resonant chorus of the wetlands, and we have felt the intricate, high-frequency songs of the insect world. But what about the sounds that are designed to do more than beckon a nearby mate? What about the voices that are meant to travel for miles, to stake a gentle claim on a vast and silent territory with a single, powerful and soul-stirring cry? Beyond the gentle, pulsing chorus of the pond and the intricate, high-frequency hum of the meadows, there are other voices that define the character of the nocturnal soundscape. These are the deep, powerful and far-carrying calls of the mammals, sounds designed not to attract a mate from just a few feet away, but to send a clear and resonant message across miles of dark and silent territory. When sight is no longer a useful sense, these great proclamations of sound are how the larger, warmer-blooded inhabitants of the night create a living, breathing map of their world. Let your mind drift now to the deep, lush canopy of a tropical rainforest just as the last light of day is fading into a soft, velvety darkness. As a deep peace settles over the forest, a new sound begins to build. It is a deep, guttural and astonishingly powerful roar, a sound so profound it seems to shake the very air around you, vibrating in your chest. This is the incredible call of the howler monkey. This sound is made possible by a special enlarged bone in its throat, which acts like a natural resonating chamber, an amplifier that takes its voice and turns it into a primal, magnificent roar that can travel for 3 miles through the thick, damp jungle. This incredible sound is not, as you might first imagine, a cry of anger or aggression. It is something much more peaceful. It is a spacing mechanism. It is the monkey's way of having a long-distance conversation with the other family groups in the forest, a way of gently saying, "We are here. This small patch of the forest is our home for the night. You stay in your home, and we will stay in ours." It is a sonic fence, a way of creating and maintaining peaceful boundaries to avoid any conflict, a gentle agreement conducted at maximum volume. Now let us travel from the jungle to the open woodlands and vast, grassy plains of North America, resting under a bright silver moon. Here, a different kind of territorial proclamation fills the cool night air, the haunting, beautiful, and deeply soulful group howl of a wolf pack. This sound is one of the most complex and beautiful in all of nature. It is not just one single unified cry. The wolves sing in harmony. Each member of the pack will take a slightly different pitch, their voices weaving together to create a sound that is rich with acoustic illusions. A song that can make a small, peaceful family of 3 or 4 sound like a dozen or more. Like the howler monkey's roar, the howl is primarily a tool for creating space and keeping the peace. It is a serene broadcast sent out to the neighboring packs, a clear and honest declaration that says this territory is our home, we are here. But it is also something more. It is a deeply social and bonding activity. It is a quiet family song, a morning and evening ritual that reaffirms their deep connection to one another and to their home. And then, of course, there is the quintessential sound of the deep, dark woods at night. The gentle, resonant hoot of an owl. The deep, soft call of a great horned owl. A quiet hoo, hoo, hoo is not just a spooky embellishment to the darkness. It is a clear and simple message, spoken with peaceful authority. It is a male owl, quietly announcing his presence and his territory to any other males who might be listening. And it is a gentle call to his mate, a quiet duet that they use to communicate and reinforce their lifelong bond. The very sound of the hoot is perfectly engineered for its purpose. Its low frequency allows it to travel for great distances through the dense trees of the forest without being scattered or absorbed. It is a sound designed for clear and peaceful, long-distance conversation. These powerful voices, from the roar to the howl to the hoot, create a living, breathing map of sound. It is a gentle way for the larger animals of the night to navigate their social landscapes, to understand their relationships with their neighbors, and to maintain a deep and peaceful order long after the sun has gone down. But this ancient and finely tuned acoustic world, this beautiful symphony of nature, is a delicate one. What happens when our own sounds, the sounds of our modern world, begin to bleed into this natural harmony and disrupt its ancient, peaceful balance? For millions upon millions of years, the great symphony of the night has been composed and conducted by the voices of the wild. It is a peaceful and ancient harmony, made of the rhythmic calls of the frogs, the intricate songs of the insects, and the deep, soulful howls of the mammals. But in the most recent and fleeting moments of our planet's long history, a new and discordant instrument has been softly added to the orchestra. It is the sound of our own human world. It is the constant, low-frequency drone of our lives, the gentle rumble of traffic on a distant highway, the quiet hum of machinery, the soft, ambient noise of a city that never truly sleeps. This sound, this gentle hum of our presence, is a form of pollution, a quiet intrusion that can be as disruptive to the natural world as any other. This gentle, constant noise creates a phenomenon that scientists call acoustic masking. You can imagine it as a soft, grey fog of sound that gently settles over the landscape. Let your mind return to that female frog, floating peacefully in the dark water, listening with all her being for the one perfect, honest call from a healthy mate. The steady, low drone of a nearby highway can be like that fog, rolling in and completely obscuring the delicate, beautiful signal she is waiting for. The male frog may be singing his heart out, sending his peaceful song into the night, but his voice is lost, gently swallowed by the fog of our noise. She cannot hear him, she cannot find him, and the ancient, beautiful cycle of life is quietly, peacefully broken. The sound of our world, without any ill intention, can create a profound and tragic loneliness for the other creatures of the night. The animals of the wild, in their quiet way, try to adapt to this new noisy reality. Some species of birds that live near our towns and cities have been observed singing their songs at a slightly higher pitch than their relatives in the deep, quiet countryside. It is a desperate, gentle attempt to lift their voices up, and over the low rumbling fog of our world. Others have started to shift the time of their singing, crowding their beautiful songs into the few brief, quieter moments just before the dawn. These are not signs of a clever adaptation, but are quiet signs of a world under stress. They are struggling to be heard in a world that is, without meaning to, no longer listening as closely as it once did. This gentle fog of noise also disrupts the ancient, peaceful balance between the hunter and the hunted. The survival of a silent owl depends entirely on its ability to hear the faintest, most delicate rustle of a tiny mouse in the dry leaves below. The constant soft drone of distant traffic can completely mask that tiny, crucial sound, making the patient, peaceful hunt impossible. At the very same time, a deer resting in the forest relies on its incredible hearing to catch the faint snap of a twig that might signal an approaching predator. That single vital sound, that quiet warning, can be lost in the gentle hum from a nearby road. Our noise creates a confusing and disorienting world for these creatures, making it harder for the gentle hunter to find its food, and harder for the gentle prey to sense danger. It is a quiet unraveling of the delicate, silken threads of the food web. Researchers in the gentle science of bioacoustics now use arrays of incredibly sensitive microphones to listen to the health of our planet's wild places. They can create beautiful acoustic maps that show not just the natural, peaceful sounds of the ecosystem, but also the quiet intrusion of our own human noise into even the most remote and untouched corners of the world. These maps are revealing a quiet, sobering truth. There are very few places left on our Earth that are entirely free from the gentle, constant sound of our presence. The great nocturnal symphony, with all its beautiful, intricate harmonies, is slowly being muted, its peaceful chorus being disrupted by a monotonous, human-made drone. We have explored the many beautiful voices of the night, from the smallest, quietest insect to the largest, most soulful mammal. We have felt how our own gentle sounds can drift into their world and disrupt its ancient, peaceful balance. Now, as we prepare to bring our long journey to a final, peaceful close, how do all of these different pieces, the sounds, the sights, the silent travelers, and the quiet hunters, all fit together to create the full, rich, and serene tapestry of the night? As our long and quiet journey through the darkness comes to a gentle close, let us rest here for a moment and listen one last time with our whole being. Let your mind become as still and as quiet as a forest pool, and allow the full, deep, and peaceful symphony of the night to wash over you. The cool, dark air itself is alive. You can hear, in your mind, the deep, steady, and rhythmic pulse of the bullfrogs from a distant, unseen wetland. It is the very heartbeat of the sleeping land. Closer, in the soft grass, the peaceful, high-pitched chirp of a single cricket provides a serene and constant harmony. A single, perfect note held in the vast, quiet space. These are the sounds of the night, the rich acoustic stage upon which the entire, beautiful story unfolds. On this gentle, sounding stage, illuminated by its own soft and living light, the quiet drama of life continues. In your mind's eye, you can see the soft, ghostly glow of foxfire on a fallen log, a cool and steady light that asks for nothing. A single firefly, a tiny, living lantern, blinks in and out of existence, its gentle rhythm a perfect counterpoint to the chirping of the cricket. As you look up towards the vast, dark sky, you can sense, rather than see, the great silent river of songbirds passing high overhead, their incredible journey guided by the soft, distant, and trustworthy starlight. They are the quiet travelers, moving peacefully through the grand, dark concert hall of the night. And within this world of sound and light, the timeless, peaceful dance of the hunter and the hunted plays out. You can hear the deep, resonant hoot of an owl in the distance, a sound that is both a declaration of its peaceful presence and a promise of the deep silence to come. And you can imagine the tiny field mouse in the tall grass, freezing in place, its entire world held in the quietest rustle of a single leaf. All of these stories, the story of the symphony, the story of the living light, the story of the silent journey, and the story of the quiet hunt, are all woven together. They are inseparable, creating the rich, beautiful, and complete tapestry of the night. This is the true night. It is not an emptiness, but a deep and profound fullness. It is not a silence, but a complex and beautiful symphony. It is the planet's own quiet, steady heartbeat, a rhythm of deep peace and incredible, gentle resilience. And it is a rhythm that you can join now, a soft and peaceful current that can carry you as you let go of the day, as you let go of your thoughts, and as you drift into your own deep, serene, and wonderfully restful sleep.